Hi, I'm Tim Martin. I'm Vice President of Sales here at PDC Spas, and I'm going to be taking you on a little tour through our production facility. Give you a little background on PDC. PDC stands for Plastic Development Company, and we've been in business for 51 years. We're the second oldest manufacturer of spas in the world, and we're pretty proud of that. And we ship our spas all over the country and around the world. And we get a lot of help from the state of Pennsylvania with our exports, and we bring a lot of dollars back into the state, and we're very proud of that as well. So before I take you downstairs for our tour, I'd like to show you a little bit about what a spa is, some of the features that we'll look at, and it'll make when we take our tour, it'll make a lot more sense. So if you'd like to come over here, I'll show you a spa. This is one of our new spas this year. It incorporates a sun lounge into the spa itself, and it gives people an opportunity to relax in the sun, have some warm water over them as they're sunning, and also enjoy the spa itself. So a little spa or hot tub 101, and I'll explain that the difference between a spa and a hot tub really isn't much. The phrase hot tub came to be when they were originally introduced, and a hot tub really was a tub of hot water. And as the products evolved, we started adding more features, more pumps, lighting systems, air systems, and it really became more of a spa experience. So you'll hear me use the term hot tub and spa interchangeably, and they really are the same thing, but that's just a little history of how spas evolved. So the main parts of the spa, of course, start with the shell, and that's the part here that you see that holds water. Okay? Once we have the shell, then we set it in a cabinet like this. We start to add accessories. This particular spa has a lighting system, has a stereo system. We can add TVs, so there are a lot of things we can do with the spa to make it really a backyard oasis experience for people. So just to show you a little bit of what the pumps do. This particular spa has two pumps, so you can see pump 1 now is running one of the seats, and it's also running the sun lounge, as well as some of the water features here. We have a waterfall. We have some decorative water spouts. So again, what we're doing is adding to the whole experience for the spa user. We also can turn on the second pump, which starts the water therapy through the rest of the spa. This particular spa also has an air blower system, so we can really provide the most full experience for the spa user, both in terms of enjoyment and for therapy. I'll turn this off. One of the other things I'd like to point out, this spa, as I said, has an air system, and we'll talk about that quite a bit more downstairs. But to give you an idea of what that encompasses, there's an air channel that's molded into the spa shell itself. So this is a cutout of that. You can see the air channel supplies the air through a series of outlets all through the spa. And again, that lets us get that air out into the spa itself where it does the most therapy for folks. And that's something that no other manufacturer does. PDC has that as part of our product line as an exclusive. So that's the basics of a spa. Let's go downstairs and I can show you how they're made. Okay, we're downstairs and we're in one of our warehouse facilities. This facility we use to stage our international shipments. You see many of these spas are due to be shipped to Belgium. We have some spas that are being shipped to Russia. We ship all over Europe. We also have some spas down here that are sent to shows around Pennsylvania and around the country. So we're going to walk backwards through the manufacturing facility against the flow of product right now. It'll give me an opportunity to explain a little bit about how PDC has grown over our 51 years, and then we'll start back through and follow the product as it goes through the production process. Okay, we're moving into one of our other warehouse facilities right now where we have can see these are just spa shells stacked up. Because PDC is known throughout the industry for our very, very strong shells, many manufacturers ask us to make shells for them. So these particular shells are going to another manufacturer's spas. Now, take a walk now through, again, we're walking against the flow of product. As PDC grew through the years, we added a building, added another building, and the production line snaked all through this sequence of buildings. Around 2006, we realized, as we were going through another significant expansion and growth of our business, that we needed a little bit more efficient way for the product flow. And you can see we've got a very, very open area now. We've taken out a lot of the walls that were in between the buildings and put in a dual production line system that's let us grow our ability to manufacture product by about fourfold. And that's really been a huge boost to PDC, because we can make product very quickly and efficiently, and again ship it all over the world. Now, we're moving backwards again through the production line now. I'll take you over where the production actually starts, and that's the vacuum forming of the shell. What we do is we use a plastic acrylic material that's heated up and thermoformed with a vacuum over a mold. All right, so the start of the production process is the vacuum forming of the spa shell. And to start that, our technicians take a sheet of acrylic, it's a plastic material, and you can see it's fairly thin. And what they'll do is place this material into the jig that holds it while it's being heated up in the furnace. Then they'll bring it out and actually stretch it down over the mold and turn the vacuum on and vacuum form the shell as we watch. It's an amazingly quick process. So, gentlemen. Now, while the furnace heats, what they're doing is cleaning the surface of that acrylic. They'll also clean the spa. Any dust or dirt that would be on that would show up as a surface imperfection. And that's why we're very diligent about keeping it clean. Now, this mold itself, this is the form that the actual shell of the spa will take as it's vacuum formed. So this is what provides the shape to the shell. The vacuum is drawn through all these small holes that you can see around the mold itself. And each one of those, the vacuum will draw that acrylic sheet as it's softened up to the mold and make the shape of the shell. Okay, Where the molds get their start is here in our mold room, and we make a separate mold for each spa model that we make. And the molds are really a work of art. They're the crown jewels of the company, if you will, because the mold is what defines the shape of the spa. You can see they're a combination of wood and fiberglass, a little body putty, a little Bondo. There's really an art form that goes on in making it. And this is going to be one of our newer models that's being made for overseas. Okay, so now that acrylic has reached its thermoforming temperature, you can see it's draping down quite a bit. It'll move out over the mold. Now this machine will stretch it down over that mold to get a good seal for the vacuum. And as quick as that, you've got the start of a spa shell. Now that newly formed shell will be ready for the next step of our manufacturing process, which is fiberglassing, and that's where we'll go next. Okay, so once the shell's been vacuum formed, the next morning it goes into the fiberglassing process. As you saw, when the acrylic shell is actually formed, the acrylic is a relatively thin material. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick. And we add the fiberglass material to provide strength to support the water and the bathers when the spa is actually put together. So we're going to go into what's called the chop room now, where that fiberglass is actually done. So what you can see here is this gun is actually taking raw fiberglass from these spools here. It's going up over the mechanism here and being chopped by the gun and sprayed onto the spa. Now part of that mixture of fiberglass is also a resin, which is like a glue that holds the fiberglass together and makes that strong shell. Now once the fiberglass and resin mixture is sprayed on the back of the shell, it's hand rolled by a team of technicians that go over each seam and each area of the spa to make sure that we've got perfect adhesion of that fiberglass and resin mixture down to the shell of the spa. Makes for an extremely strong shell. As I said before, we're well known in the industry for the strength of our shells and actually manufacture them for other folks that make spas as well. So one of the other things that's done in this area is we add that air channel. that I spoke about upstairs that delivers the air therapy into the spa, that's actually a channel that's molded into the fiberglass and sprayed as part of this whole process. Can show an air channel right here. This spa has an air channel that goes all the way around the footwell. So the blower mechanism would be attached down here, and that would supply air through the entire footwell of the spa, again for maximum air therapy in that spa. Now this entire fiberglassing process takes anywhere from a day to 2 days, depending on the workload and the product flow through this area. Now one question you may have is, why is the floor sand? And the reason that is because it lets us keep a much more clean and easily cleaned facility. As you can imagine, as that fiberglass and resin mixture is spraying, any overspray would hit the floor, and that could potentially cause an issue with buildup, and it's a volatile material. So we use sand, and it allows them to clean this entire area out every day after the shift, and just provides an all-around better working environment. Okay, once the spas are fiberglassed, the production process splits into 2 channels. One goes this direction around this area. Those are the spas that don't have those air channels that I showed you in the chop room. The spas with the air channels come this direction. They go down this production line where that air channel is individually tested. The reason we do that is because you want to make sure that that air channel is watertight, is airtight, so it provides the maximum amount of air therapy in the tub. And this is one spa that has just finished that water testing process, and the air outlets have also been drilled. Once that process finishes, the 2 production lines merge again here into our robotic cutting and drilling facility. This is the most recent addition to PDC Spas. The drilling and cutting process prior to this was incredibly manually intensive, and quite a bit of time was taken up by doing that drilling and cutting. We added this robotic cutting and drilling machine to speed up the process and grow with us. Because of the additional growth that PDC has been seeing, we needed to make that process a lot faster. So I'll show you how this works. This is a unique machine, the only one of its kind in the world. It's actually an industrial robot that does the drilling, this turntable facility, and then a saw that comes in and trims all this excess acrylic from the fiberglass process. So that saw will come in as we start this part of the process and actually cut all this acrylic and make a nice smooth edge to the spa. You can also see this is an excellent example of the air channel. It's been spray painted here for clarity. You can see how that runs around the entire footwell of the spa. Now this arm is clamping that shell down and holding it so as the turntable turns underneath it, the saw can trim that entire edge. All right, so now the acrylic's been trimmed. We've got a nice edge here. And it'll be a few moments for the technicians here to get the spa set up, get the machine set up, and then we'll actually do the drilling with the robot as well. All right, we're all set to start the drilling process. As I mentioned, the drilling machine is the only one of its kind in the world. We started with a pretty standard industrial robot, did a lot of programming ourselves, a lot of modifications ourselves to match how we make spas. We make each spa to order rather than making all Arubas one night, all Bally's the next night, each model made on a different night. We make them every night. Might have an Aruba one time, then a Bally the next spa, then a Boulder the next spa. And to accommodate that way of manufacturing, we had to adapt the robot such that it could drill a different spa every time. So the robot has a laser vision system that allows it to pick out reference points on the spa, and then as it's drilling, that's how it places each hole for the jet that it drills. So now it's picking up a tool, the router bit that it's actually going to do the drilling with. It'll bring that up to speed and then start drilling. And you'll be able to see that small red dot is the laser vision system actually picking out how far the tool is from the shell itself and where exactly that hole for each jet goes. Now, as the robot goes through its program, it will continue drilling all the holes in each seat. Then it'll move to the next seat and finish that entire side of the spa. Once it finishes the entire side, the turntable will spin 90 degrees and it will start drilling the next side and continue to the next and continue to the next. Some of our spas have in excess of 80, some of them 90 holes for the jets, for the controls, and for the suctions. So the robot keeps pretty busy. All right, now once the drilling is finished, the spa comes over to this area where we do some cutting and drilling that the robot can't get. For example, this control area is cut out. The robot can't do that. And there's some other jets that for whatever reason, maybe there's a difficult angle that the robot can't reach. We have a team of technicians that does those by hand. You can also see this spa has had some of the jets installed already. These are the jets that provide the hydrotherapy as the water flows through them. And then these are jet bodies that the jet has not been added yet. And in a few moments I'll take you upstairs. While all this process is taking place, we're manufacturing the plumbing harness that attaches to the back of the jets here. And then I'll show you that process as well. So let's walk upstairs to the mezzanine and you can see a plumbing harness being made. Okay, as I said, while all the drilling and trimming process is taking place, up here in the mezzanine we're manufacturing the plumbing harnesses that go with each spa. So each spa has a different combination of hoses and manifolds that allow it to deliver that water exactly what it needs with the most efficiency in the plumbing. So as the spas are coming down the production line, the plumbing harness is being made up here exactly to that specification. And you can see this is a Denali Slimline, one model of spa. So these is all the plumbing that goes into that. This is a Boulder. This is a Bally. So again, each spa is being made to order. Okay, now the majority of the jets are added in this process. We've actually we're starting the formal production line process here at PDC. So you can see a lot of the jets are being added right now. A suction is being added down here. And the spa is being prepared so that it can move to the next stage of the production process, where that plumbing harness that we just saw being manufactured upstairs is mated with the spa down here, and each of these jets and water air inlets is plumbed individually. Now while that jetting is being finished up, the plumbing harness that we saw upstairs has been sitting in this heated enclosure. It's been getting nice and warm, nice and pliable to make the plumbing process a lot easier. Okay, now that the jetting is finished, what they're doing is wrapping the edge of that spa with plastic to protect it through the rest of the manufacturing line here. So the conveyor system will pick up the shell and move it to the next step of the process, where all that plumbing harness is added. Once the jets are added, the spa moves to the next point in the production process, and you can see this one is starting to look a little bit more like a spa. It's been set into the frame, and some of the accessories are starting to be added. You'll see a lighting system in this one that's being added. As well as bracing to make sure that the spa stays solid in its frame and safe when it's being used. Okay, once the framing is completed, we move down the line here where the equipment is being added. This particular spa has internal equipment. This is the control pack, where each pump will ultimately be wired in, each accessory will be wired in. The heater is added. We use all electric heaters. And then this is a pump and each of our models may have anywhere from 1 to 3 pumps. And they'll all be wired and plumbed into the system. Okay, once that's completed, the spas come down here where they're actually water tested. We water test each spa individually with the water running for 20 minutes and then standing for 5 minutes. While the pumps are running, we can check for any leaks, any pressure leaks in the pump system, and when it's standing for 5 minutes, we can test for any leaks in the suction system. We're also testing all the accessories here. You can see the lighting system in this spa is being tested. And we have quality control inspectors that look at each system in the spa as it's operating to make sure that it's operating properly. Now, one thing I'd like to point out, as the spas are being manufactured through the entire production line, we have a quality control checklist that goes along with each spa, and it stays with the spa for the life of the spa. At each point, the technician that performs the work initials that it's been done correctly, and then we have a quality control inspector that follows that technician, inspects the work, and then initials that it's been inspected correctly. And that lets us track anything that happens with the spa. Again, it goes with the spa through its lifetime, so if there would ever be a warranty claim on that spa, we can go back and do some additional training or check components to make sure that the best possible product goes out every time. The workers, everyone down here, receives an incentive payment with their weekly wages to maintain that high quality. So everyone has a very vested interest in making sure we put the highest quality product out that we possibly can. Now you can see as this spa is being raised up, they'll go through and inspect each area of the spa to make sure it's working properly. Now, most of our technicians in our factory have been with PDC for very many years and know each step of the process and have worked each step of the process. And at any given time, if a worker notices something that he doesn't like, he sees a fitting that he doesn't think is done properly, they can take that spa and move it all the way back to the beginning of the process and have that corrected and then come back down here. Again, we want to make sure that each spa is the best that it goes out. Once that's corrected, we bring it down here and we water test it again. So the workers all have a high incentive to make sure that the product is of the highest quality. Okay, now once the spa has passed through water test, it comes down here and the cabinet's added. So this is one of our panels, and you can see it's a multi-layer panel that's part of our insulation system. We've got the layer actually of the synthetic material that comprises the cabinet panel itself. Then there's a layer of ABS plastic, a layer of high density foam, and then a layer of reflective barrier here. And what that does is provide the maximum amount of insulation for the spa. It traps an airspace in here in the cabinet itself, and each one of those layers, as the heat moves from the fiberglass into the trapped airspace and bounces off the reflective barrier, goes through each one of these layers. Each layer impedes heat flow. Very similar to when you're going out skiing or hunting, wearing multiple layers of clothing. That's multiple layers of heat protection for the spa. You can also see we set each spa down into an ABS floor. This is a solid piece of ABS that goes completely under the floor, and it has those same 4 layers in between the spa floor itself and the ABS layer. Again, to provide maximum insulation. Many people set their spas onto a concrete pad, which draws quite a bit of heat out of the spa. That keeps that heat inside the spa for the maximum water temperature and the most thermal efficiency. No, that's good. Okay, once the spa is finished getting the cabinet panels added, any of the other accessories like stereos added, it comes to this area and it's detailed, cleaned up for shipping. So the technicians will go over it with a cloth, clean up any of the water that's still in remaining from water test, really shine it up and make it look good so that it's ready for shipment and ready to go out to the retailers. Now once that happens, the spas are moved over here where the packing material is added. There's a layer of foam that's added to the top that protects the top surface of the tub, a layer of cardboard that protects the cabinet, and then a bag that goes over it, and that bag is shrink wrapped, making the spa ready for transportation. All right, this is our electrical room, and here's where we make all the electrical components that go inside the spas. We test the pumps, we test the equipment packs. This is an equipment pack that goes inside one of the spas, and many of the spas that we make have all the equipment inside the cabinet. These are some of the pumps that go inside the cabinet. And then we also have equipment available outside the spa cabinet, which provides a little bit more flexibility when you have an installation where that might make sense to have all the equipment in one location outside the cabinet of the spa. And that's what this looks like. So here you have the electrical control equipment and all the pumps all on one separate equipment skid. And this lets the homeowner locate this, for example, in an equipment enclosure rather than having it underneath the cabinet of the spa. And again, it just provides a little bit more flexibility. Okay, the last stop on our tour is our training facility. As I mentioned, we have retailers around the world, and we bring them in on a periodic basis into our training facility so we can help them understand the best way to service the products, provide warranty support, answer any of their customers' questions. We do all that training here in the factory. So we'll bring on a weekly basis anywhere from 2 up to a half a dozen different retailers into the training class, and we set it up so that they can go through and service a tub. We have a spa problem simulator over here where the instructor can set up any kind of fault condition that could possibly happen with the spa and then walk their students through how to diagnose that problem and how to repair it in the field. So he'll take the class through a couple examples where he'll say the homeowner's called and the spa's not heating. And you get there and it has this error code on the display. Okay, here's what you should do. So he'll do that a few times, and then he'll take the class individually through almost a test of that. So he'll say the homeowner's called you and a pump isn't working, and here's what you see when you get there. Now it's your turn to fix it. And he'll go through and help each student understand what they have to do to correctly identify the problem and repair it in the field. One of the other things that we do is, while we provide comprehensive training on the newest equipment that we're using, as I said, PDC has been in business for 51 years, and we have many spas that have older equipment in the field. And we almost have a museum of PDC here where the instructor will take the class through everything that they're likely to find in the field, from the very newest equipment that you see here down through the years to some of the equipment that they might see in a spa that's 20, 25, 30 years old. As PDC has been in existence for longer than virtually every other spa manufacturer in the world, we've got spas in the field that have been there for 30 years. So at the conclusion of that training session, the class takes a test which counts as continuing education for their industry certification, and we certify them as being able to maintain PDC spas, and they go back, and many of them then become the instructors for their company and train their technicians in the field for how to maintain PDC spas. All right, I appreciate the opportunity to give you a plant tour of our facility here at PDC Spas. If you have any questions or we can help you out with the spa, please feel free to give us a call directly here at the factory in Williamsport or give one of our many retailers a call around the country. Thank you very much.